In the past 6 weeks, there's been like 120 ETF launches. We've only talked about 10 of them, but there's been 120. This has been fascinating because I'm just the guy who's been like, had his nose to the ETF grindstone for almost 20 years. And I've seen launch after launch. In fact, they come out so fast you miss them. And most of them do nothing. I mean, they're like crickets. They're lucky to get $1 million in trading. So here come these. They trade 50 to 500 times the norm. Not percent increase, but times.
Hi there, lovers of cryptocurrency. The one and only Eric Balchunas will be visiting us on the channel today. His mission is to explore the vast realm of ETFs and decipher Bitcoin's future. Balchunas will discuss his forecasts for the coming year and explain why he believes the ETF market will surpass even BlackRock's power. Eric Balchunas outlines his positive outlook for Bitcoin in 2024 in this exclusive interview. The cryptocurrency market is really excited about the impending April Bitcoin halving event. Everyone is worried about the possibility of a huge spike in a few short weeks. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has approved the Bitcoin Spot ETF, which is absolutely historic. With many ETF applications under consideration, the SEC is in a position to influence the course of cryptocurrency. 2024 is predicted to be a game-changing year for BlackRock, with a flood of ETF applications and approvals in just the first half of the year. The Bitcoin community is excited about this milestone and its significant ramifications. According to Balchunas, big businesses will eventually include cryptocurrency in their balance sheets. The green light for such an ETF might be the first step towards significant institutional investments. Let's go right into this enlightening conversation with Eric Balchunas as he explains why Bitcoin is poised to completely transform the cryptocurrency market by 2024.
I've realized that there's two groups that are mainly crapping on it. It's the econ twit, and just general people who hate Bitcoin. They like to troll the crypto bros. So this is a great way to say, man, these are underwhelming. It sort of signals to the rest of econ they're cool, and it basically trolls the crypto bros to going crazy because, oh my God, what did you mean it wasn't successful? So I get why they would do that. That's their motivation. The When Moon crowd, they were like thinking, oh my God, we're gonna get this like huge God candle or whatever, the God candle. And it kind of flattened, it went down a little bit. There was a sell the news kind of event, and they're all like trying to investigate, wait a second, the GBTC outflows kind of match the inflows to the ETF. The other ones, there's no new net buying, and you're playing Sherlock Holmes, and they're frustrated because they wanted that bump. Two things on that. A, it went up 80% on the rumor or optimism of approval. You have to factor that into all this. If you go from approval day on and you're like, what have you done for me lately? You have a major perspective problem. You need to get outside, touch grass, read a book, get in a relationship, find something else to do. I'm a 60-40 investor. I'm happy with 7% a year. So the idea that you could still be at 50% or something year to date and be bitching and moaning is insane to me. So there's that kind of perspective. Now, every time there's a run up, like when the Fed is supposed to lower rates, there's a run-up in the stock market before the Fed announcement. Like, this is what happens in markets. There's a run-up before an expected outcome. So there's a sell the news event. Second, there's been a lot more buying in flows than there has been GBTC outflows. But the numbers and the volume is so dramatically off the charts and abnormal. I'm not really sure what planet people are from that it's not enough, or if they didn't think they thought it would be bigger. Certainly there was a lot of hype, and maybe it just underwhelmed compared to that, but that's a relative issue that I can't help them with. I can only go with reality and past the numbers. And this was like top 0.1% ETF launch ever.
Can you put some numbers around that, Eric?
Sure. So if you we'll go by flows, right? So the newborn 9, and again, I separate out the newborn 9 because GBTC coming over and is a fully grown adult. GBTC is a separate entity. The newborn 9, which again, these are all first ever, have taken in $3 billion. They've traded about $6 billion. Those are crazy numbers. So the volume alone, that's $6 billion. That's like multitudes more than all 500 ETFs launched last year traded combined, like pick a day this week. They trade about, maybe close to $1 billion, the 500 of them together. And these guys have done $6 billion of that. They're averaging more than the 500 combined, basically. So It's hard to do this in the first couple of days. And the other thing I'll mention, which I'm about to tweet out, and Matt is going to get a kick out of this. This is amazing to me. The volume usually on these big hyped up launches, it starts high and it comes down like 25% a day. And then you hope it settles into like 70 million a day or something like that. You'd be happy with that. It went up today. So today, all of them are trading more than they did the day before. That is a really good sign. You never see that. That tells you there's legs here. It's not just like some hype thing that like fizzled away.
Balchunas is certain about the cryptocurrency business and sees a time of rapid expansion coming up. Titans in the industry actively participating highlight his optimism, with special attention paid to BlackRock's significant role. A long-awaited increase is expected, according to Balchunas, as the countdown to the much-awaited 2024 Bitcoin halving event intensifies. Balchunas presents a vivid image of a cryptocurrency world that is primed for enormous expansion and revolutionary advancements. So be ready for an exciting trip.
We used to show this chart because Matt knows this. There's people who are like, ETFs are the tail wagging the dog, and like stock picking is over because all the stocks are in ETF. The flows in the ETF will make dispersion among stocks go away. Long story short, some of the ways we dispelled that was showing like GE stock over the course of a year when like bad earnings came out, it like tanked, and then we showed the flows of ETFs that held it and index funds. And the flows could not do anything to stop the tanking. They were inflows coming in to buy GE. Now, would GE have gone down a little further? Probably. So I would argue in this kind of a scenario, if you have sell the news people, who are players who were hedge funds who bought GBTC, maybe wrote it up and they're selling, any kind of sell the news or GBTC selling, the flows into the newborns at least are making it less bad, right? So this happens, right? It would be way worse if it weren't for the ETF flows that are net positive at about $1 billion. So it's like somebody else is doing it. I put that meme of like the call. We've traced the call. It's coming from inside the house because I was like talking to the crypto people. This is on you, buddy. Somebody in your world, I don't know who it is, some whale or just a bunch of degenerates, they're selling the news here. That's overwhelming the ETF inflows. So just like GE could fall despite ETF inflows and disprove the tail wagging the dog, these ETFs are not going to wag the dog either. There are many other elements going on. Over time, they should help, I would think. But one other point to make, the other whole thing, GBTC outflows, newborn 9 inflows. So even though the newborn 9 have taken in more than GBTC outflows, there definitely is some kind of an offsetting. And I don't know how many people are like refugees from GBTC who have found a home in one of the newborn 9. Let's call that 30% of the outflows. I don't think it's there. I think a lot of hedge funds, game that discount and they're going somewhere else. They don't use ETFs a ton anyway. That said, ETFs are going to steal from everywhere. Like when like VU is the Vanguard 500, right? We track its flows. It's taken in $35 billion or $40 billion last year. Probably some of that came from mutual funds. And those outflows from mutual funds and the inflows to VU, they are net zero demand on stocks. But we still track VU inflows. If we tried to offset every flow that ETF stole, we'd go nuts. It's just, they steal from everywhere, and that they will. There'll probably be flows coming out of the Canadian ETFs. There'll probably be flows coming out of Coinbase. There'll probably be flows definitely from GBTC. Anything that's high cost is gonna get some of its lunch stolen by the ETFs over time. But GBTC is like a great example. To me, it's playing the role of the high cost mutual fund in this little universe.
As January 2024 approaches, it seems that the cryptocurrency market is about to see a sharp increase in value. With his deft illustration of Bitcoin's present undervaluation, Balchunas attracts investors and speculators who are ready to ride the waves of September's price swings in search of lucrative possibilities. Balchunas sees an unrivaled opportunity for individuals who want to become involved in the activity, pushed on by the impending wave of mainstream adoption. In less than a year, he sees a race for a six-figure price objective developing. Balchunas' presentation of the fascinating historical trend of Bitcoin's value increasing 10x with each halving occurrence feeds additional support to this optimistic viewpoint. Given the historical background, it's possible that Bitcoin could rise to an incredible $100,000 by 2024. The issue now arises. What are your opinions on the forecasts made by Eric Balchunas regarding Bitcoin, the size of the cryptocurrency sector, and the entry entry of institutional money into the market? Please feel free to offer your thoughts in the comments below. I appreciate you listening in. Remember to click the like button, subscribe for more interesting stuff, and check back for changes in the future. See you in the next one. Or